Welcome to the only daily podcast focusing on compliance news of the day. Each morning, start your day with a cup of coffee and Tom Fox, the voice of compliance, to hear about 4 of the top compliance, corruption, or leadership stories you will need to start your day. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network.
First, a word from our sponsor. The Daily Compliance News for November 14, 2022, the Are You a Pepper edition. Well, you may be a pepper, but we know one person who is not. That's the now former CEO, whose name I won't even try to begin to pronounce. But he has resigned due to violation of the company's code of conduct. As reported by Reuters, Dr. Pepper said the violations were not related to strategy, operation, or financial reporting, of course, leaving the question of what the violation was. Nevertheless, the top person at Dr. Pepper has resigned. Except from the Wall Street Journal, the bankrupt crypto exchange FTX is probing unauthorized transactions. In other words, they were hacked. And more than $370 million worth of crypto funds appears to be missing. The hack occurred Friday after FTX filed for bankruptcy, so it's not clear who or what may have engaged in the hack, but a lot of money was taken. Next up, from the Financial Times, in the Working From Home column by Emma Jacobs, advice to older workers: don't be the office curmudgeon. I thought this was a great piece. And curmudgeonness is often evident when it comes to demands for improved working patterns, increased diversity, and flexible hours. And unfortunately, it's us older guys, and I suppose gals, but mainly guys who have turned into their fathers and grandfathers. So employers should see curmudgeonliness as a sign employees may lack optimism about their working lives, but it's something that you need to watch out for. And finally, our final story comes to us from the Washington Post, reporting that after a string of losses, the Justice Department has notched some antitrust victories. The biggest, of course, was the federal judge's decision to block the merger of 2 powerhouse book publishers, Simon & Schuster and Penguin. But it's one of several antitrust victories over the past month for the Department of Justice, as Mike Volkov would say, the division, but to the rest of us, the antitrust division. It includes blocking mergers in sugar and healthcare industry, and fighting corporate consolidations. Also, no poaching guilty plea was obtained by the DOJ last month. That last one is probably the most significant for the compliance professional, and if those clauses are still in your contracts, be advised they are now illegal, and that a company can be prosecuted for having those in their contracts. And that could extend down to the people who sign them on behalf of corporations. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network and a proud member of C-Suite Radio. Thanks so much for listening. I hope you'll join me again tomorrow.
This podcast is a part of the C-Suite Radio Network. For more top business podcasts, visit c-suiteradio.com.